No. Could you not? Sis. Hello, how are you? I hope you're good. So originally I planned on filming today, but I am out of juice, you guys. It just ain't gonna happen. And I thought it would be nice to have a very chill video, just sit down to you, you know, friend to friend, and go through some of the September releases. Grab yourself a cup of tea, coffee, whatever you prefer, and let's just check what's up. Sounds good? And my battery's flashing, of course it is. First thing that I see is Wildcard by Mary Lou. This is a second book in Warcross series. I've just recently gotten Warcross. I'm very excited to read it. I know people say it's definitely not like Ready Player One, although it is compared to it basically. I think only because it's like an RPG game based plot. But I am very excited about that because, as you may know, I like games, so I think it's exciting. And I did really enjoy Ready Player One, but I'm open for different interpretations of that. But if you are into Warcross and you've read the first one, the second one is now going to be released on the 18th of September. And I see an adult contemporary book that's called 9 Perfect Strangers by Leanne Moriarty. Cool name. It says, could 10 days at a health resort really change you forever? In Lane Moriarty's latest page turner, 9 Perfect Strangers are about to find out. So it literally sounds like that's what it is gonna be. It's gonna be a bunch of strangers meeting in this health resort, and I think at the core of it is a love story between the owner of that resort and this woman, our main character. It is coming out again on the 18th of September. The current rating is 3.8, only has 21 reviews and 100 ratings, but it is not out yet, so this is gonna be for early ones. Someone saying her best yet. Someone mentions that there's more humor in this one than her previous ones, if you are looking for that. The actual reviews are quite good, but there's not many of them, so it's up to you if you believe them or not. That is now out? No, that's not true. That is out on the 18th of September. I legitimately am just like... Also, my camera is next to the window, so if there's a lot of voices from the outside and noises, I do apologize. Okay, then there's a young adult mystery thriller contemporary. This one is called Sadie and is by Courtney Summers. Comes out on the 4th of September, so it's already out. It seems to be about a girl who didn't have an easy life growing up, and she was really trying to raise her sister, Mattie, but then Mattie gets murdered, and Sadie's world obviously understandably crumbles around her, and she is determined to basically spend her life trying to find this killer because the police didn't. And then our next POV or point of view, I think, is gonna be a boy who gets really immersed in this investigation, and he's like a radio personality, and he starts a podcast around the mystery, and he is determined to find Sadie, because Sadie just sort of like hits the road and tries to bring justice and whatnot. So it sounds like it could be promising. It already has quite a few reviews. I'm not sure, maybe this is a re-release. But it currently has over almost 2,000 ratings, and it starts at 4.4, which is pretty good. Most of the reviews at the top there from like recency seems to be quite good. Some have been saying probably wouldn't actively recommend it. There's a trigger warning in one of the reviews. They mentioned that there's a trigger warning for violence and pedophilia. Someone saying, I can't remember the last time I was so engrossed in a story. Dark, emotional and thrilling ride. Vengeful comes out this month, which is very exciting. Vengeful is a second book to the Villains. I don't know how long it's gonna be, but a series by V.E. Schwab. I did read Vicious, the first one, and so they're two best friends that when we see their story from the beginning, although at the current time of the story they are biggest enemies and they're going for each other basically. And this is a supernatural read, so it has some supernatural powers involved, and it's basically like almost like a superhero with an anti-hero, and everyone can be that. So it's pretty fun. I would definitely recommend. Definitely looking forward to it. I was just not as like whoa as everyone else were, but I did still really enjoy it. Then there is the fifth book in the Magisterium series that is called The Golden Tower. Did I tell you? I did not tell you. The Revengeful comes out on the 25th of September. So The Golden Tower is by Holly Black and Cassandra Clare. Okay. Don't know what it is about, but it comes out on the 11th of September. If you've been reading the series, then there you are. Then Stalking Jack the Ripper number 3 is out. I did read that one. I did enjoy it, but the end really pissed me off. I really enjoyed this like main character who's a female at the time where females are basically just constricted to this family role, and she's all about learning anatomy and being heavily involved in medicine and learning human body, and she's breaking all sort of social rules, and she's supposed to be like really clever. And then I felt like at the first book, like it didn't fit the character what happened in the end. Just you know. And I was enjoying it. I wasn't like loving it, but I was enjoying it up until the end. But I don't think I've been enjoying that much that I would just want it more, you know. But it's definitely an interesting read. I don't know what the third one is called. Escaping from Houdini. First one is like a retelling of the serial killer, or like a take on it. Houdini was obviously an American illusionist and stunt performer, escape artist, and escaping from Houdini. Interesting title. So that one comes out on the 18th of September if you are interested. I feel like a lot of people are, because this is a beloved series. Then there is something called I Will Never Leave You. Insert like the scary ex-girlfriend thing, or like a girlfriend thing. So this is a thriller mystery. It's an adult book, currently a 3.48 at the ratings. It has almost 3,000. Okay, so it seems to be about a couple that seem to have it all except the baby, and then this guy has a baby with a young mistress, but when this main woman holds the baby, she becomes like basically obsessed with making that baby hers, and the man with this mistress want to start a new life together, but this other woman is basically trying to get the baby, and it says how far is each of them willing to go for happiness. So that is that kind of thing. Someone is saying it starts perfect and intriguing. Unfortunately, it goes from madness to madness, following into boredom. Truly a dysfunctional cast of characters, to put it mildly. Someone gave it 2 stars. Actually, the reviews, like the actual like word reviews, are pretty bad. It says it got off to a strong start but really went downhill from there. Another 1-star review. This book starts with an intriguing premise, but the execution is a disaster. Oh, some of them are pretty savage. One says, how does something this poorly written ever get published? Okay, the actual reviews are overwhelmingly 1 and 2 stars. So keep that in mind. But if you want to try that out, this is already out, and it came out on the 1st of September. It is by S.M. Thayer. Next up we have another, it's a historical fiction, and also has it under mythology and retelling. This is The Silence of the Girls, and it's a retelling or a take on the Iliad, as experienced by the captured women living in the Greek camp in the final weeks of the Trojan War. The reviews are fairly positive, some 3 stars, so quite a few 4 and 5s. I am utterly breathless. Pretty decent reviews, I'd say. This one comes out on the 4th of September, so it's already out, and currently has a rating of 4.08 from around 300. Then we have another historical fiction that is called Transcription. This one has 3.8 out of 300 ratings. It is by Kate Atkinson, and this is set in 1940s. 18-year-old Juliet Armstrong is reluctantly recruited into the world of espionage. sent to an obscure department of MI5 tasked with monitoring the comings and goings of British fascist sympathizers. She discovers the work to be by turns both tedious and terrifying, but after the war has ended, she presumes the events of those years have been relegated to the past forever. Says 10 years later, a new radio producer at the BBC, Juliet is unexpectedly confronted by figures from her past. A different war is being fought now in a different battleground, but Juliet finds herself once more under threat. A bill of reckoning is due, and she finally begins to realize that there is no action without consequences. A lot of 4-star reviews and 5-star reviews. Some 3, you know, the normal. Someone say entertaining, thought-provoking spy novel. So that's out on the 25th of September. Then there's a romance novel called Dirty Headlines. Judging from the cover, this might be smut with quite high rating, 4.69. Very good review. As in, like, literally every written review is basically 5 stars. So if you're in the market for a new one of that genre, I'd say this looks decent. Then there's a non-fiction book that's called I'd Rather Be Reading, The Delights and Dilemmas of the Reading Life. I mean, it seems very relevant for us. And it's at 4.42 now, and ratings. It came out on the 4th of September. This is by Anne Bogle. It says, for so many people, reading isn't just a hobby or a way to pass the time, it's a lifestyle. Our books shape us, define us, enchant us, and even sometimes infuriate us. Our books are a part of who we are as people, and we can't imagine life without them. I'd Rather Be Reading is the perfect literary companion for everyone who feels that way. In this collection of charming and relatable reflections on the reading life, beloved blogger and author Anne Bogle, not sure, leads readers to remember the book that first hooked them and place where they first fell in love with reading, and all of the memories afterwards that helped make them the reader they are today. Then there's also the novella. Oh no, sorry, not the novella. A book. Is this a final book? I think this is a final book. Two Dark Reigns is the 3rd book in the 3 Dark Crowns series. I'm not sure if this is the last one. Do you guys know? Let me know. It came out on the 4th of September. I am caught up with the series. Actually, I did read the last 2. They're not my favorite books ever, for sure, but I'm still reading it. It definitely, to me, is nothing special, but I do come back to it because I like this idea. An idea is that there's 3 sisters, triplets, born to every queen, and they're always separated to the fraction that they seem to be appropriated to. So there's poisoners. Oh my god, how are they called? The one with the animals, where you can control the animals and you have like familiars and stuff, and then another one that is elementalist. Once they are turned 16, over that year they have to kill each other, and the remaining will become the queen, and then at some point she will have the triplets, and the cycle repeats. But these 3 ones were not like the other ones, and obviously it doesn't pan out the same way, and it was I really like the idea, and I think that's why I read it. Have I not gotten the book in one of the boxes, I can't remember which one, I probably would not have picked it up, but I did, and then I read the second one, and now I'm just like so far in there, because if it's total of 3, then, you know, why not? There was a novella that came out, but as I said, I'm not as invested, so I didn't go for that. Why am I so white? I will read the second, I will read the 3rd one, because I don't know. Then there is a book called Pride. This is a young adult contemporary. It's by E.B. Zoboy. It says Zuri Benitez has pride, Brooklyn pride, family pride, and pride in her Afro-Latino roots. But pride might not be enough to save her rapidly gentrifying neighborhood from becoming unrecognizable. When the wealthy Darcy family moves in across the street, Zuri wants nothing to do with their 2 teenage sons, even as her older sister Janie starts to fall for the charming Ainsley. Does it have reviews yet? So there's a 2-star review saying that they were very excited, but oh, it's a retelling of Pride and Prejudice. That's interesting. Then there's 5 stars, 3, 4. So there's mixed reviews, I think. And this one is out on the 18th of September. There is a book by Heidi Heilig, and it's called for a Muse of Fire, and this is a fantasy YA novel. It says, a young woman with a dangerous power she barely understands, a smuggler with secrets of his own, a country torn between a merciless colonial army, a terrifying tyrant, and the feared rebel leader. It has quite good reviews. I'm only looking at the wordy ones. Oh, there is one star. Not a fan of the format and not a fan of the story, that 1 star, but all the other ones seem to be quite strong reviews, saying this book was gorgeous. Halig's latest novel brings out a necromancer story in a fantasy world influenced by colonialism. Sounds pretty interesting, not mad at that. But I think that is everything now, so let me know if you've added any of these to your TBR. Is there something else coming out in September I haven't mentioned that you're looking forward to? Thanks for hanging out with me. Hope you enjoyed this like chill look through of what's gonna come out soon. Stay awesome, stay kind, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Oh, why?